Gwen! Not now, dweeb! Can't you see I gotta deal with... Ben? So who are you?
Me? I'm a hottie. Can't you tell?
Now do you believe me?
Back in the day when things were vastly simpler, I thoroughly enjoyed a good doppelganger story and was happy to accept whatever the conclusion would be. The problem now is that I struggle to just accept the answers I'm given, and in the case of this episode, I wish it went a little differently. Let me break down this episode and I'll explain why. We begin with Ben and the crew waiting in line for Ben to pick up a new game. Max and Gwen get bored and leave him to collect it, and they'll meet him after.
Cool.
As they return, suddenly a Tetraman looking like Ben flies out of the store and starts attacking the police. He zips off very quickly after this, leaving a path of destruction in his wake, while Gwen and Max run back to the RV to scold Ben and see the report of forearms attacking the store on the news, to which he claims that wasn't him.
Liar!
As they investigate, Ben spots the other Tetraman and follows him to the local mint, where we cut to a Pyronite attempting to destroy the factory. Gwen catches up with him first and accosts him, believing it's still to be Ben.
You fool.
Ben then arrives behind her for them all to suddenly become concerned when it's revealed that this is in fact Kevin. Since their last encounter, Kevin has managed to collect himself and has residual energy from the watch inside of him, which means he can transform seamlessly between each of the 10 alien forms. Ben transforms into Diamond Head to try and take him on when a squad of soldiers drop in and attack them both. Kevin bolts and Ben is pursued across the factory until he times out, where they meet Lieutenant Steele, who states that he's hunting down the alien invaders. They leave looking like a family that just find themselves there and are quickly led into a race against time, where Kevin as Upgrade is running a tram carriage down to the waterfront with passengers inside. Ben goes wild mutt and Kevin again bolts, informing us that he's creating destruction everywhere he can to make Ben look bad.
Not a great plan.
Ben works with Max and manages to save the tram of people, and later on Lieutenant Steele reveals that he was tracking them after their encounter in the Mint, and after becoming suspicious of the Omnitrix, he believes that it could be Ben. Then they get a report of Kevin as Diamond Head starting to destroy the support cables on the Golden Gate Bridge. As Steele makes his way there, Ben slips away and goes to confront Kevin as Forearms. Steele gets in the way briefly but is chucked over the edge onto one of the suspension ties of the bridge as Kevin and Ben start to duke it out. Ben gets the upper hand but at first chooses to let Kevin go when he briefly loses control of his transformation and deems Kevin a pointless venture. This enrages Kevin, who begins to mutate into a hybrid of all 10 forms and can no longer change back. He blames Ben for this, but Steele quickly chooses to support Ben by having his men blast Kevin off the bridge into the San Francisco waters. Ben saves Steele and they agree to call it quits. A little while after this, Ben and the crew make their way past Steele, who is still suspicious of Ben, but the final shot leaves us with the waters bubbling right where Kevin fell. And there you have it, folks. That's how Kevin became 11. I know what you're saying, he's already Kevin 11 because of the energy thing, fuck off. But for me, he truly embraces that comical name by becoming this horrifying amalgamation of aliens and still possesses the powers of absorption from before. The idea of Kevin is awesome and a great mainstay antagonist for the series, and I'm not disappointed that we had him, especially with the evolution of his character here, which ironically becomes a sticking point for what I'm about to talk about in the future. But the problem with his injection here for me, looking back at least, is I wish it had gone one of two other ways. Firstly, something to do with the watch, which in a roundabout way it was. Like maybe it was calling members of the various species to Earth, or that we would have played witness to a similar story, and spoiler warning if you've yet to see this, but the Agragor arc in Ultimate Alien, where he too is an Osmosian, which is exactly what Kevin is, and can also absorb the natural abilities of others and weaponize them. It's one of the best written stories of the entire franchise, so definitely check it out if you've yet to already, but the premise of him hunting down the various aliens he needed for his nefarious means was awesome, and to have an early rendition of this plot, even in just one episode, would have been cool, but alas, it's not what we got. I just personally would have loved to have seen another physical manifestation of Forearms or Heat Blast that wasn't on the watch in interact with Ben and the gang, and maybe Kevin was the cause of that somehow. Remember how cool it was to see Tetrax and Diamond Head meet up? Just imagine that, but with all of the aliens. Kevin's more monstrous appearance allows for some awesome power sets to be created later in the show in a genuinely thrilling encounter with Ben. However, if you believe this to be spoiler content mentioning that Kevin will turn up later in the series, just remember that Kevin has the powers of Ripjaws and he fell into the water.
A worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what's that then?
The ferocity and rage within Kevin was always a joy to watch when I was younger, but now you see him as just lashing out, as that's all he's ever known. He's confused and misguided. Ben created his own enemy in some ways, but the lack of guidance throughout Kevin's life becomes another part of the story in the future spin-offs, and is thankfully something he's provided with. But a question by then is whether it's too late or not. Moving on though, the inclusion of the SACT and Lieutenant Steele was interesting, but they rarely, if ever, come back to this concept or character. Though the idea of a government-funded agency that is tasked with hunting down aliens isn't uncommon in a lot of universes that run a story like this. Just look at the Men in Black, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Bishop and the EPF for example. There's loads of different universes that have this concept, so it doesn't necessarily feel out of place when it's added here. But my question is, did they work with the plumbers before they were shut down, or were they there after them? Or were they just set up because Ben was suddenly trolling the planet with dressing up as an alien? The character of Steele wasn't something that captured me then and still doesn't now. He's a military man with a mission, and although he gives Ben a pass for now, he could have become quite an antagonist in just one directed episode later in the future, but much like Clancy and the Kraken, we never come back to him in any meaningful way. Anyway, the idea of this story was exciting and did have me guessing back in the day about what or who it could have been, and I would highly recommend this episode to anyone willing. The visuals of this one felt more dynamic, and the Kevin episodes have always been a good time. That's going to do it for me though. I appreciate you stopping by. Leave a like on this video and subscribe for more down the road, and until then everyone, take care and I'll see you soon.